Hey, good morning. Oh, you're on mute, Kristyna.
The cardinal sin of the double mute. Hello. Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
We are rocking and rolling. Uh,
Yay.
Excited to be up and in a new year. Did you have a nice new year?
I did. I did. It was lovely. We had some friends visit from South Carolina, so it was a blast.
Oh,
How about you?
it was fantastic. We cooked a nice meal and just kind of relaxed and had a nice evening at home. So it's very good. So, good morning,
Nice.
everybody. Good to see you. Aaron, Jack. Uh, even Kevin's in the chat. So good to see Kevin is back. And Donald always is always good to see you. And look at this. We got Cody and Belinda as well. What did you guys do for New Year's? Love to hear
Party.
about that. Leave a chat in the comments as to your big New Year's thing. That would be fantastic. Um, but we have a lot to get into today, so we are going to head straight into that. Unless you have any objections, Christine.
No, I'm excited. Let's get
Okay.
to it.
All right. So, first, a few things. We have there's a number of new live streams that are coming up. So I got Marcus. That's going to be on Wednesdays. We're going to be going through and we're going to be talking about notebooks and Power BI and all the things that you can do there. Uh, Honestly, I'm really excited to talk with Marcus because he's been uh, spearheading a lot of the stuff like semantic link and those types of capabilities. So tons of new things there. After that, we're going to be meeting with Miguel Myers. He's going to be talking about
Oh,
what new things we can see in 2024. Uh, I'm really excited to get that type of roadmap and vision on the Power BI visual side because I don't know, Kristyna, have you seen what his team is working on?
yes, and it's so cool. Yeah, I've loved the absolute insane amount of new things they've come up with in just 1 year. So I'm pumped to see what they come out with in 2024
Yeah,
and how that really makes Power BI just pop above all other reporting
yeah,
tools.
it is. I'm very pumped to see what is coming out here. And then the week after that, we're going to be talking with David Mariani from AtScale about semantic modeling and the value of using AtScale or the semantic model inside of large organizations. AtScale's got a great offering there. So go meeting with him and see how that works and functions, especially for partners and friends that are in uh, a mixed environment. If you're like Microsoft and AWS or Microsoft and Google Cloud, AtScale has a lot to offer in those spaces. After that, we're going to be meeting with Bogdan. And we're going to be Bogdan. So for those of you who don't know, Bogdan owns that new manager experience inside of uh, the Fabric admin space. So if you've got questions about how do you use this, how do you govern, how do you administer your Fabric environment or troubleshoot, this is the guy. All right, super excited to be meeting with him. Are you using the admin tool, Kristyna?
Not yet, but I am greatly looking forward to it. I've seen a couple of things and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Um, I think that they've taken in a lot of feedback from the community on the pros and cons
Hmm.
of some of the later admin tools. So I'm excited to see how it all goes
Yeah,
from
and
there.
they've been doing a great job of getting feedback on that, and
Yeah.
I am very excited to see what they have coming out. And the week after that, we've got Rui. So Rui's going to be talking about Power BI and CI/CD. I think we're going to be getting into and doing more in this space. Like Kristyna, this is a subject near and dear to your heart.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, Chris.
Well, you
So I'm excited for this one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Seeing what's coming up, seeing best practices, understanding how we can leverage that stuff inside of our space, and the whole concept of data ops, how we can operationalize our work so that we're not I mean, I don't know anyone who like longs for the days of Saturday deployments and up all night, doing regression testing, and that's
That actually used to scare me the most about getting into IT, I'll be honest with you, Chris. Like I would look at the server room, the guys that were in there on Monday, and they were just like, I don't even know why I'm here. I was here all weekend. And I was like, oh, oh. But things have changed a lot for the better.
yeah. I mean, it it was not that long ago where anytime you had an issue, you had to like you get a text alert and you had to like drop what you're doing, hop in a car, drive to wherever your work was, and then sit down and figure it out. And like, I mean, I can't tell you the crazy things that go with that. Like, oh, fighting through the snow, dealing with like, oh, the security system isn't working and your badge isn't letting you in, and then like having to call and wait for security to drive in to unlock the building for you to go in. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So now it's so much easier, so much easier.
Yeah.
And then we got two more, or we got we got a couple more bookings.
You got a great lineup ahead,
Yeah,
Chris.
this is
Yeah.
pretty good. Uh, on February we've got Muhammad Ali. For those of you who don't know, Mohammed is the program manager for the entire Fabric service. So like every little bell, whistle, doohickey, knob, button, or dial, he owns all of that. And so we're going to be talking about the roadmap for that we've kind of
Exciting.
announced. So for those of you who aren't familiar with like the Fabric roadmap and what's going to be in the service, he's the guy who manages all of that. So we're going to be talking about that. This is going to be a big Q&A session with one of like the big leaders at Microsoft. So make sure you dial in for this one. We also have Powell. He's going to be talking about Fabric for the SQL developers. So if you're just new into the SQL space and you want to start working inside Fabric, Powell's going to be going over that. And then the last one that we have on the docket is Rosie is going to be coming back, and she's going to be talking about all the advances on the Power BI on object experience. So I'm excited because I've kind of given her some public like grief because I was excited about on object, and then like yeah, like it just didn't seem to like I tried hard for like 10 weeks and I had to go back because it wasn't working. It was making my life painfully bad. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I spend that much time on something, I can't go back to that well again. There's too much to learn and too much to know. And if it doesn't, or you have to wait to come back. So this is our coming back time. So.
And it'll be great, Chris. I know Power BI Tips, they did a podcast, I think yesterday,
Okay.
about this, and they touched on it as like one of their things that they're hoping improves in 2024. So hopefully Rosie can give us some good insight on what they're thinking of doing to make it more easy to adopt.
Yeah.
And a few less clicks. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, 100%. And Cody does bring up a great point here is these live streams are a great way for you to get connected with like the people who are contributing into the community. Now, I have a huge lineup of Microsoft people coming up, but just a few weeks ago, I did a live stream where we went over power ups, right? And that's just awesome too. So, these are a great place to get those connections in place. So. All right. Okay. And we're talking about conferences in the chat. So that's great too. Do attend those conferences. But today, we're going to be talking more about the Fabric Challenge that we talked about last week, right? Or that we introduced last week.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to help you guys knock one out.
Yes.
So get ready.
Yeah. So if you've tuned in and you're up for the challenge, we're going to be running through and we're going to go deep into one of these. So if you're following along, you can like clear out one of the challenges. Okay. All right. So and what do you get uh, if you complete the challenge and you can send this stuff and show it to me? You're gonna get your choice of either a white on blue no Dax Collins T-shirt, or I'm not sure that this has been we've seen this out the no Dax Collins
Ooh,
T-shirt. Note it is also on the back, so like no matter where you go, you
wow.
are telling everyone that you do not support those Dax Collins. It is bad, bad, bad,
I love it, Chris. I love it so much.
right? So um, one day, I'll hopefully,
Hopefully that day's coming
yeah,
soon, Chris. I
hopefully in my
yeah.
lifetime, but if it occurs after the fact, like with the change request, I'd like to say RIP Chris Wagner, Dax
Mhm.
Collins deprecated, right? Like so that goes into the Git
Oh,
log.
there we go.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What a legacy. What a legacy you would leave, Chris. Your impact would be profound.
All right, okay. So step one is, and this is in theory the easiest of them, but potentially one of the longer ones. It's to complete the Microsoft Learn Fabric pathways. And be aware that these pathways are being enhanced and new pathways are coming out. So the longer you wait on getting through this, the more effort you're going to find. So, oh no, where's here it is. Okay, and we have the list. It's going out there and getting to it. It's very simple. You just head over to the learn.microsoft.com site, go to browse, filter down to fabric, right? And then filter into uh, the learning path, and that will give you all of the items that are inside the challenge. As you can see, I'm not done yet. I've got, I got to do the Kusto one, and I've got to work with semantic models. Oh, I didn't know that must be new. Have you done that one yet?
No.
I haven't seen that one. So see,
You already have more to do,
yeah,
Chris. 5 more
yeah,
hours.
yeah, 5 more hours. Yeah. Um, but there's a lot of just working through these. This is very helpful and frankly something that will be good for people to get done. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is we want you to set up your own Microsoft tenant so you can deploy this outside of your workspace. Okay, so um, I don't think there's any cost to have a tenant itself. It's the things inside of the tenant that have uh, costs that go along with it. So this is a free little tip. Um, it basically gives you the ability to go into the portal.azure.com and create your own content. I'm going to take here is a quick start guide for creating that tenant. I'm just going to plop that uh, into the link so you guys can know that. Yes, and there is a link, Belinda, to all of these challenges. Good call out. Let me see if I can pull that up. While I'm on this, here we go. This is a live stream, so we have this wonderful pauses. All right, there we are. Apologies, we tried to like set up a new tenant, but there's some kind of challenges in like just setting up a new tenant. So, well, if you
We
have
only have
one,
an hour.
yeah, we only have an hour. So,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see here. What was our next item on our to do? So that's step two, and that is not a huge thing, but it's something that's out there. Step three is the big one, right? So this is creating your own Microsoft Fabric demo environment, getting this up and ready so that you can actually have worked through how the pieces work inside of Fabric. So you could say, yeah, you've created each of these items, right? So, and what do we say by that? It's like, okay, you're going to go into Data Activator And you're basically going to go through all of the items that exist inside of a fabric, and you're going to work through those. And let me just do a quick little show of that. Oh, that didn't work at all. Here we go. So if we go,
Yeah, and Chris, you went through this in a video yesterday too, didn't you? So if people are looking for
yep,
all those items, they can watch that video as well.
yep. It's in that video,
Yeah.
but it's basically if you go into any workspace, and go to new and more options, you'll see all of the items that are out there. Go in and create each of these things, right? So you can create your lake houses, your notebooks, your environments, all of these good things. Okay. There is I do have a repo out there. So if you want to get started, you can use this repo to get you up and running with the lake house. This will give you an AdventureWorks lake house environment. Okay. All right, let's get back to it. And then the big one that we're going to be hitting on today is, and this today's focus is create your own Microsoft Fabric capacity. Okay. And we'll run through this entire step. I do want to just hit on I do want to hit on step 5 quick first so you understand the scope of it, and then we'll circle back. So step 5, go through and review the admin center, run through each of the items, go through the pages, read up on the things, be able to talk to and articulate what do the admin center settings work, how do they function, understand the different sections, that type of thing. Now, we have a great question from over on LinkedIn. Maxim is asking, hey, is the third step covered in the learning paths? That is a great question. The learning paths will walk you through creating most, if not all, of these items, but it does so in its own like environment that is spun up. And I mean, it'll kind of like get you into that stuff, but most of that stuff gets like blown away, and you don't have it as an ongoing asset that's available for you. So, and that's why kind of good to see these all at once. A great thing to do might be to like, hey, have some progress going inside of your learn pathways, but then do step 2, get step 3 up and running. And then as you continue to progress through the learning pathways, do what's inside the learning pathway. But let's say like data activator, do the data activator learning path, then immediately go over to your demo environment and create that thing, right? So you'll have gone through that whole see, do, teach mechanism to get up and running, right? All right, but we want to go into creating your own capacity. All right. Kristyna, have you created your own capacity before?
I have not, so this is going to be exciting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to head over to my Azure portal. I don't know if there's stuff on here you're not supposed to show, but I don't think you get back into my environment here. But it is just my demo environment.
Challenge number 6.
Yeah.
Accept it. No,
Please don't. It will really set me back on my goal for hitting YouTube subscribers. But because I'll have to rebuild stuff. But hey, what can you do? All right. So first thing you're going to head into, this is what the portal looks like for those who haven't seen it before. It's going to list all of the different capabilities and most common activities like people have on the side over here. Um, in the center, you can search for resources. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, so like a server you need to connect to or something along those lines, you just plop that name in here and boom, it'll pull that right up. Okay. The next thing it has is these are the services that you will use most often. So this will look different based upon your usage pattern. So if it's the first time in, this will be like a generic list of items. But as you go through and start to work inside of Azure, this will refine itself to the things that you're interacting with most recently or the most. Okay. And then below that, you will have the resources that you've created inside of Azure. Now, as you can see, I've got a number of resources out there because I've been working in Azure for a little while. Not everyone has before. So, but we wanted to go in and we wanted to create a capacity. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. I'm going to say create a resource. And here is where I am going to, you know what, I just need to zoom in, not zoom in. That'll be hard. All right, so I'm going to type in fabric.
And to back up just a little bit, Chris,
Yeah.
right? We've got this awesome Azure portal.
Mhm.
The reason we have to set up Fabric in Azure, and I'm sure some of you who have Power BI Premium are thinking, why do I have to do this if I have Power BI Premium? You don't, right?
Yep.
This is only if you're setting up in a pay-as-you-go Fabric capacity.
And I thought it's also a reserve fabric capacity too.
Yes, sorry.
Yep.
Both of those are within Azure. Yeah.
Yep. And so that is a great call out. Power BI premium capacities were and are an M365 service that you purchase through like that licensing portal. Fabric is a Azure capacity. That's what allows Fabric to be able to scale up and scale down and be all more server-like than your premium capacities. So you will find that there are way more services out here than you could possibly imagine. Again, they're going to recommend like the most common things like virtual machines, web apps, databases, right? Are going to be at the top, but like, so we're going to have to search for Fabric, in other words.
Yeah. Lots of things. Don't let it scare you.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm going to choose a Microsoft Fabric because I believe that takes us right to where we want. I thought. Yep. So notice lots of things out there. So Microsoft Fabric, the data tool and platform that we're talking about has the nice like Fabric icon on it, and it's published by Microsoft. That is different than the Microsoft Service Fabric cluster. Okay. Uh, I honestly, I don't even know if I know how to describe the other Fabric clusters. I just know that these are not them. And
yeah, just don't do
yeah,
this. I think it's probably a good rule of thumb.
yeah, just don't do the others. I mean, I don't even know what the heck these are. So like interesting stuff, but like not what we're trying to do here. So simply go into create and say you want to create a Microsoft Fabric. Note, I had put a heart on it. Right, so this was a service I use on a regular basis, or I know I'm going to be using. So I hearted it, so it's very easy for me to find this in the future amongst everything else. I recommend that you do the same thing with the services that you're using. Okay, I'm going to go to create my Fabric capacitor or capacity. Now, a few things that are going to come out here, right? Like if you want to know more information on it, you can click here and they'll give you more information on the Fabric documentation. There are some basic information that we need to have in order to create anything inside of Azure. First one being a subscription. Kristyna, how would you describe a subscription to people?
I think of it, well, and this might be an incomplete thought about it, but I think about it as a quick link to my credit card.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells it which one I want it to use. You can use the same subscription across multiple resource groups or multiple resources. But that's how I think about it. You have to set up a subscription separate from here. So it's another thing that you can quick search in that search bar. You just type in subscriptions, it'll pull up all the ones you have or all the ones you have access to. And if you may need to make a new one or adjust what credit card things are going to, or even manage your costs for those subscriptions, this is a great place to do that. So that's how I would describe a subscription. I think that it gets complicated in my brain sometimes to think through like, okay, subscription, resource group, resources, but it's actually pretty simple once you break it down, right? We got a payment card and then we've got our actual things that we want to work with. I know you and I, Chris, have talked about the difference between a large organization setting one of these up and a small one. And the benefit is that we get to be simple.
Yeah.
We get to be very simple with our own fabric capacity. You're not thinking through like, okay, I need to bill to a certain department, so now I need a new subscription for that department. Or, hey, I have a resource group and I do tags in there, and that's how I do my billing against different departments, right? There's a lot of different ways to slice this, but if you're making something for yourself, you can keep it simple.
Kristyna, you're spot on, and um, yeah, you're really what we're talking about when it comes to subscriptions and resource groups is how are you paying for these items, right? And
Yep.
if you're in a small company or you're an individual, having a singular subscription and maybe having just one resource group is sufficient. But if you're working in a large organization, you may find that you have a subscription for each department or each big division within your organization. However
Yeah.
your cost structure is broken out inside your company, may have their own subscription, and then resource groups are then defined at a step lower than that. There's a whole bunch of different strategies there. We're going to keep it really simple here. So I'm just going to continue to use my existing, I've got a MVP sponsored resource group or subscription, and I'm going to put in my Ferris BI Central uh, um, resource group.
Resource group.
Yep. Now, capacity name. You just kind of come up with a name that you want to call this capacity. Now, I'd like to recommend that you come up with some sort of like naming convention that is meaningful for you. So I have been using like quotes from the movie Hot Rod. But
I love it, Chris.
kind of do whatever you want. So we will call it dog. Yes, for Kevin's per Kevin's recommendation. Oh, that's
Only lowercase.
dog. Okay.
Beautiful.
All right, so it's a North Central. I'm going to choose the size. Now, a note on the size. F64 is what's required, which is equivalent of a Power BI P1, is what's required to be able to publish and share reports without the users having pro licenses or to share reports externally. You do not have to have any other licenses if you're just working in the data engineering and data science space. It's only when it comes to the reports and the consumption do your developers or users have to have Power BI Pro licenses, or the capacity has to be above 64 unit or F64. A note, though, this is the cost of these items. So, that's interesting.
That's pay as you go pricing.
Yeah, this is. Oh yeah. This is pay as you go pricing. Not like the reserve instance is in line with what the premium capacities were. Basically, $5,000 a month for an F64, $10,000 a month for F 128, $20,000 a month for the 256. Right, it just doubles because you're doubling your resources as you go up. Holy cow! If there's anyone who's working on an F2048, please let me know. I'd like to help you with whatever it is you're working on there and spending that kind of money.
Well, and have you ever played the game on your phone, Chris? 2048? Because when I see these numbers, that's all I think about. Like the 2 block. I'll show you later.
Okay.
It'll be fun. It's a fun phone game.
All right.
But if you ever want to think about what fabric capacities look like, you just remember that game.
Okay.
You're good to go.
All right. I will. I remember it on memory. I think of it as memory, right? 32 gigs of memory, 64 gigs of memory. I'm building a new system that's 128 gigs of memory. So excited to have that up and running soon. But I will definitely check that out. Now, I am going to change the size of this capacity to be something I can afford. So I'm going to change it to an F2 and hit select. Now, can we talk about Kristyna? Can you explain the difference between a reserve capacity and an on-demand capacity?
Yeah, reserve typically, and this is my experience with it so far, is you end up going through a sales rep
Mm-hmm.
with Microsoft. And typically what they're able to do is set you up with a year-long contract or more, right? So I've seen some companies go with 3-year contracts because they know they're going to stick with Power BI, and that'll lower their monthly cost.
Mm-hmm.
It also significantly lowers your monthly cost from pay as you go.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft has decided, or you've decided to tell Microsoft, I'm using this tool for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so Microsoft says, oh, no worries. Let's go ahead and set your capacity aside, and we will always have that ready for you. So that is cheaper on both fronts, right? It's kind of a win-win. Pay as you go is, hey, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to need, and I want to be able to turn it off and on throughout the month. So I'm only paying for it as I need it. So Microsoft in that instance says, well, you're going to pay a little bit more for that because we're not going to reserve it for you. So you're going to pay a little bit more so that we can have that flexibility with you of, hey, you know what, today I need to use it 8 hours, tomorrow I need it 0 hours. That functionality, that flexibility is why you're paying more per hour. But, and we're going to talk about this too, Chris, right, is it's going to be cheaper if it's just you to use pay as you go because chances are you're not using it every day. You're not going to use it all the time. And when you're not doing that, you don't need reserved.
Right, because you could
Because
pause it.
ultimately you will save money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, if you only use it, let's say you use it for 4 hours, you set a goal of I'm going to work on this challenge. I'm going to do it 4 hours every Saturday, and I'm blocking off that time, or I don't know, Tuesday evenings or something like that. Um, you're going to use it for 4 hours a week. That's 16 hours a month. You're not even using it for a day, right? Like,
No.
like this becomes incredibly inexpensive on the on-demand capacity.
I think 16 hours a month is still less than $10,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it's pretty cheap.
Yeah. I will say for companies though, I would imagine because of the concept of bursting and smoothing, we're going to see that more and more companies are just going to find that it's easier to let the bursting and smoothing handle their like balancing their consumption and going to reserve capacities. I've got a whole presentation or video on this, but for those of you who aren't familiar with it, if this is your regular consumption, in the old world, if you were just buying capacities, you'd have to buy all, like a 3x capacity in order to get this to work and operate and to function. Well, that's very problematic because each of these capacities have different costs, and you've got tons of unused compute that's there. Reality is, it really looks like this because you double at each level, right?
Oof, yeah.
What bursting and smoothing does is it allows for that data to like automatically get distributed out over the course of a 24-hour period, right? And I kind of just quickly run through what that looks like, where those capacity units get distributed out based upon, it allows you to use it, right? But then you quickly get those distributed out over the course of the next 24 hours. Now you could run into some like, oh, I've got no capacity left, and it actually tell you have none left. So you think, hey, this is a problem. The reality is you could just buy then a smaller sub capacity to go along with that and address that. So uh, this video is go ahead check it out. It's great, but I just want to quick do a run through of what that means for people. Okay.
And again, if you are just setting this up for you,
Yep.
keep it simple.
Right.
Do enough to pause it when you need to, turn it on when you need it.
Yep.
If you need to, set little reminders for yourself, like, hey, turn off my fabric capacity in an hour. That's going to save you a lot of money. Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kevin, I think we covered creating a pause and a start, but it would be good to do that again with people becoming more aware of what this is and what this actually means. That'd be really great. But All right. So I've kind of created my capacity. It's my dog capacity. It's North Central. I've got this ready. I'm going to go ahead and click on review and create. Right. It's going to,
Look how easy.
yeah, like super easy, barely an inconvenience, right? um, it's going to like, hey, is this what you want? Technically just validated that I could create it in case someone else in my organization was creating a dog capacity at the exact same moment. Um, and I'll click on create. And it's going to go ahead and you can actually see it like start to go through the development process, deployment process that's running up here, right? This can take, 5 to 10 minutes. Uh, it depends on all the stuff that's going on inside the service, but oh, there it is. It's all done. So it's all ready. So
We secretly had this pre-recorded,
yes.
so we just fast forward. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But I can either go right. Oh yeah, I can go to the resource right here, or if I clicked on the home screen, I would see that back there as well. So I'm going to see that dog is up and running. It's active. I can see the different sizes of it. I can go in and I can check out the activity log that I have that is going to go along with this. It's not going to have the log analytics yet associated with it. That's something I'd have to turn on. But I can do different access controls here. And, we're not going to get into all of these different things, but do spend some time understanding how, what's out here. Know that you can come in here and change the size of your capacity. It does take a few minutes to scale it up or scale it down, but it works pretty well. I did that within a 5-minute window. I scaled it up, tested it, and scaled it back down. But for the most part, though, we just want to make sure that this is up and running and works. Before I head over to Fabric, any comments on your site, Kristyna?
No, just want to call out again how simple this is, right? It feels really daunting. It feels really scary, but it's actually pretty simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just works. It's very easy. There is a way, and I forget, like I think it's JSON. Yeah. So if you're one who's like, I gotta script it all out and get these things ready, here you go. This is how you can script and create this as part of a CI/CD pipeline, and you can see all the different things that are being created as part of this. And but again, all just through your clicks. You can just go in and do that from here, and then you could take that and run with it. But because it's your personal demo environment, you can play with it, right?
You can break it all you want.
Yep. You're not hurting anyone. You don't have to worry about that admin coming in going, oh, what happened here? Right? So,
and you won't get charged more than that pay-as-you-go price.
correct.
So if you're messing around with stuff,
Yep.
You're only paying for the hours you're using,
Yep.
not necessarily the data you're moving, which is huge.
And I believe it's in 5-minute windows.
Yeah.
Is it 5 or 1?
5 sounds right, but we should triple check that. So
it's very small. You don't have to pay for a full hour even, right? Like it is smaller than that. That's the unit of that you're accessing that you're using it for. So but once we're out there, like let's go. Can we go directly to it from here?
I don't think so.
Let's see it. All right. We'll keep it simple. We'll head over to our Power BI workspace.
We need like a little drum roll, Chris. This is so exciting. Get to actually use our new Fabric capacity in a workspace.
Yeah. So I'm going to go into my test workspace here. This is already in a premium capacity. So I'm going to go to manage access. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Workspace settings, what am I saying? And I'm going to click on the premium tab. Now, you could see that I've got it configured to be in a premium capacity. Well, I'm going to change it to be a Fabric capacity. So I'm going to choose my fabric capacity, and I'm going to go to my drop down and take a look at that.
Woohoo!
There is dog. Dog is out there. So if I choose dog, I can then click apply, and I have converted my workspace over to using a fabric capacity that dog. So this is all
And
ready.
just like that, Chris, we have completed a challenge.
Yes, just like that, we've completed a challenge. Now there's something I want to show you
Wow.
here, because we're not done. This is not the last step. There's more here.
I'm excited.
Yeah, are you ready? Well,
I'm ready.
I'm done with my test today. Now I can click on pause, and I can pause this resource, and I can stop getting billed on it.
Genius. Oh.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
So, Chris, how can I see what this has charged me in the past month?
Well, I don't know that. Can you do that?
Oh. If you go to the resource group, I think we can see it there. I should have pre-submitted my questions. Chris, like when the bill comes, I just pay it.
Oh my gosh. And I found out I was paying for so many things I shouldn't be paying. And I went in and I shut all this stuff off, and I submitted a ticket to Microsoft. I'm like, hey, so here's the deal. We'll see if they are forgiving or not. I don't know how that's going to go. I need to be more responsible about these things. My wife is appropriately on me. So now I want to show you something though. So I pause this, right? Like it is paused. It's not working, right?
Yes.
This environment, I'm going to refresh it. Still here, right? Like it's still here. I could still go out and I can look at it. I could see my fabric capacity. Oh, but look at that. This workspace is configured to use a capacity you don't have access to. You know why I don't have access to it? Because it's paused, right? So that means if I click on my report, it can't load the model because there's no capacity available for it. Bum, bum, bum.
Very cool.
That's okay, right? Like let's not fret. All I have to do is hit resume. I want to resume it. We're going to start that dog up. Where's Dex? I don't. My wife gave Dex this new dinner last night. She did something new because he's a picky eater. He ate the whole thing, like just gobbled it up. And then I took him on a walk. He jumped the entire walk, like
like hopping.
Yeah, like hopping, like just jumping up and down on the entire walk. It's like, what is going on? It was a challenge.
Oh
right.
Gosh.
So now dog is back up and running. It's jumping now. And if I go back into my report, I click on it. I just had an error because it couldn't load the model.
Ooh.
Now it can. Right? This is live.
Success.
Right? Success. I didn't have to do anything else. Right? So again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to pause it.
And Chris, I can show you where the costs are if you want to see it.
I do. Yes, I do want to see where the costs are. Okay. How can I figure out what the cost is on my capacity? Where do I go?
You'll want to go to your resource group.
Resource group? Okay, that's right here on the side. Click on resource group. Oh, look at this.
You'll find the one that you assigned to this one.
I did Kristyna Central. Okay.
And then if you scroll down on the left there's a cost analysis, or there should be. Oh. Well, let's go to, let's see, maybe I just have a newer one. So you're in your resource group. Let's see.
I thought it'd be in my subscriptions.
Maybe it is in your subscriptions. Mine's in my resource group, but
or cost management.
oh, there you go. Or cost management. Beautiful.
I don't know. Oh.
Oh, you know what?
That's important.
That might be why you don't have cost management sections on your resource groups.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So new plan. If you go to the subscription, you should be able to see it there. And it might be different because you've got special subscriptions.
I'm special. Let's try this Visual Studio.
Yeah, so this one, now you have a cost management section on the left. You see where it says cost analysis and cost alerts.
Yep.
So you can set up alerts, you can set up a budget. So if you don't want to go over a certain amount, you can set that up here. Or if you know, all that kind of stuff, it makes it way easier if you are for sure that you don't want to go over $10 a month. You can set a budget for this subscription so it never goes over that.
Oh, smart. And so that's just add.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty simple.
I did do it.
You can even add filters there. So if you just want to apply this to certain resources inside of your subscription, you can do that. You can, set it for certain billing periods, whatever. Yeah.
Billing month.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. That's on January. Budget amount. Aha. So I have $150 in my Visual Studio thing, so I can set that. What am I missing here?
I think if you scroll up just a little bit, you have to enter a name there. Yeah, it's the little things.
Yep. $100. Okay.
Yeah, they really like to make sure you never put any spaces in there.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. There we go. So I've got it all done. Hit next.
And now you can set an alert for a certain percentage of your budget that you're at. So if you know you need to increase it, you can go in there and increase your budget.
Oh, cool. Because I said at $100, I have $150 because I want to know that. But I could do this as the actual $150 and say I want to know it at 80% or something like that. Oh, and I hit create.
Exactly. You got it.
Action group.
If I'm a person like myself who just really never is terrified of spending more money than necessary in Azure products, this is how you set it up, and this is how you're going to make sure that you don't go over what you're willing to spend on something like that.
Got it. I hit create, and it's up there. Oh, that's so easy.
Boom.
Yay! Learning something new today.
Everything in Azure is easy once you do it, and terrifying until you do.
Well, I would say that once you start to get like accustomed to how it works in the patterns, like I didn't have any fear when you said we're going to create a budget alert on this. Okay, I completely believe you, right? It's pretty easy once you get accustomed to it. So just to take.
Well, and I'm always afraid of spending a lot of. I've heard the horror stories, Chris. People turning something on, not remembering it, and then getting the $10,000 bill at the end of the month. So, this is a good way to not have that problem.
I had a resource, a lead engineer on a team that was doing a big deployment to an R8 analysis services online. And if we go look at, like, let's create a service. Let's go analysis services. Blah, blah, blah. Analysis services, right? Yeah, I want to create one of these. Look at these. Where is it? Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. He was it was the $20,000 one. It was this one. He was creating it. He needed this size of a a service to get created, to get up and running for a project that they were launching. They were going from their QA environment to prod. It was their big launch, and the launch failed their regression tests, and so they had to roll back to go to fix some stuff in their QA environment, and they weren't able to fix it before he went on a 2-month vacation, and so that production S9 was up and running for 2.5 months before anyone caught it. So you can
Holy
spend a
cow.
ton of money on those things, and because how they managed the budgets there, I didn't have line of sight into it, so I couldn't see that it was on. And
Oh,
yeah, that's no good. Microsoft, I don't know. I don't know if they got that. Microsoft rolled that back because there's no usage. I don't know about that. But yeah, you do have to be a little careful on this stuff. This is spending actual money, and there's nearly an
yes.
infinite amount of money you can spend in this space. So yeah,
But if you're smart about setting up your budgets and whatnot, you're going to be okay.
yeah, yep.
Like you're going to be fine. You're not going to end up in that situation. And if you are in a situation where you are in a position in your company to manage costs, set up alerts for yourself on that too. You can even make different things with log analytics. There's all kinds of possibilities in Azure to manage your costs because they know it's a big issue.
Yeah, yep. So and be aware, if you're at a small company, you do want to make sure that you've got those things up, because uh,
Yeah.
I think I heard a CIO say once, like, hey, we know we're going to go into the cloud, and if you talk with other companies that have gone into the cloud, every project at a minimum costs 2 to 3 times what's budgeted and allocated for. They kind of like accepted that. That's like the basic formula for it. So you, as an individual, you don't want to just let this stuff run whole hog. You want to make sure that you're going like right in at it, and you're making sure that you're on top of these things, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We are nearly at time. Kristyna, I want to thank you so much for filling in when Kevin was out. That was wonderful of you.
Oh, anytime. I'm glad Kevin's coming back, and I will take you up on that free hat offer, Kevin. So I'll see you in February.
Oh, that's fantastic. And for those of you who are MVPs who might be watching, I'll be going to the MVP Summit. We'll be connected with Kevin and hopefully others. Belinda, I hope we'll be able to connect there as well. If not, the Data Platform Summit is coming up. It's in it's the 3rd week in March. Really looking forward to going to that. Are you headed there, Kristyna, or no?
I think that's right at the same time as SQL Bits.
Yes,
The 3rd
it's
week
the
of
week
March.
after. It's the week after that. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I might be a little jet lagged, but we'll see what I can do.
Are you you're going to SQL Bits?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is over
Yeah,
in the UK, so that is hard.
London. So excited.
Yes. Here is the Fabric Conference. Grab that. I will post that into the chat here for us, so we are up to date.
And I know in the chat they were talking a lot about SQL Saturday Atlanta.
Oh,
I don't think you're going to that one, are you, Chris? Or are you going?
No, I am. I'm really bad at these things. Number one, I hate flying. So.
Oh, that's right. And that's not a 6-hour drive for you.
No. It's not easy, and I'm not like Donald. Donald is like the king of the rails. Like Donald, just like, hey, something's coming up. Hop on a train, and he makes his way there. So, kudos to you. Very jealous of your perchance for the Amtrak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, 2 days. Holy
Oh my
cow.
gosh. Ugh.
Oh my. Yeah, and
Well,
James says there's still time to plan the trip.
if you ever want, Chris, Kentucky's halfway, you know? Got spare bedrooms. You just let me know. We'll set you up.
What is it? Sequel Atlanta?
Sequel Saturday. Yeah. And I
Okay.
think this is the Saturday.
Oh, April 20th. No, that's my wedding anniversary. I was gone last
April is
year
the
on my
second
wedding
one.
anniversary and for the MVP summit, and uh,
Here, I'll send you this one. This is the one that I think we're talking about, is in February.
oh, there's one
The
in
BI
February.
and data analytics. There's two.
Oh,
Because Atlanta has such a nice big data community that they're able to do 2 events, which is awesome.
oh wow, that is.
And actually, I think Sequel Saturday Atlanta is where I met Miss Belinda
Oh yeah,
last
look at
year.
that. They have 2 of them. That is crazy.
Mm.
Wow, you guys have a fantastic community if you've got that much in there. So let me share that as well. Oh, Alex Powers is doing Data Factory in a day. That is very tempting. I will. So yeah,
We're chipping away.
yeah. I will say before we have to go, there is a Microsoft Fabric Learn Together program that's kicking off at the end of January, where you can actually dial in and learn with different MVPs. I'm going to be hosting the session on the data warehouse side of it, so we're going to be running through uh, those MS Learn stuff, getting people prepared and ready for the DP600. So do check that out. And
Awesome.
I'm not sure this has been announced. So let's see if I'm not going to get in trouble for that. Okay. Where is it? I have it someplace here. Ah. April 4th, I'm going to be doing a Fabric in a Day a session. So that is, look for more announcements on how you can join the Fabric in a Day. So it'll be a full day of like going through and working soup to nuts on Fabric and getting all the components in place, doing all the stuff. Should be a good time. So.
Oh, that sounds awesome, Chris. Yeah, definitely send us more info,
Yep.
and we will all be there.
Awesome. Well, with that, I've got to thank everyone for joining us today. Kristyna, thank you so much for guest hosting.
No problem. It's always a blast.
Well, Kevin's talked retirement on many occasions. Maybe we got to talk about like what happens, you know.
Kevin's not allowed to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, he can like retire,
yeah. But not from this.
Keep doing
This
this.
show does not offer a pension, and we do not offer formal backing out. I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, you have to stay forever, Kevin.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. You guys have a great day. Baker Tilly Digital combines strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.